Welcome back to Where is the Money? Where is the money, Donald? Where is the money? So apparently there is a Supreme Court case where Trump is urging the court to rule in his favor so he does not have to pay back a contingency fund. Some say this pot of money or funding was supposed to be the money from the tariffs. Others say it's money for the emergency fund for SNAP or food stamps. Nevertheless, he seems to think that if they have to pay it back, it will be a major financial disaster. Let's talk about it.
Donald Trump just warned the Supreme Court that if they don't side with him and they rule that the tariffs he's been imposing willy-nilly are actually illegal, it could cause some major financial problems for the United States of America, because he's already collected what he called trillions of dollars in tariffs, but what is actually about $90 billion in tariffs. But that money hasn't been allocated out anywhere. We are shut down right now because Congress and the Senate hasn't been able to pass a budget to allocate funds to programs. So even if he did collect $90 billion, shouldn't have been allocated out anywhere yet. It should just be sitting in a bank. Why would it be such a problem to have to pay back the $90 billion in tariffs if that money is just something that's sitting in a bank waiting to be spent? Where's the money? Did he spend it somehow? I mean, it didn't go to SNAP or to the farmers or to infrastructure or to the FAA. The only money I saw go out the door was $40 billion to Argentina. $40 billion out of $90 billion, that would be a significant spend. Where's the money? Because if he were to have to give back the money he had tariffed, it would actually go to American businesses. Because again, the tariffs are paid when the product comes into the country by the importer. That cost eventually passed on to the end consumer, the American public. Because from where I'm sitting, if they do deem that these tariffs were illegal and they have to give the money back to the importers, that goes right back into American business. And that would mean that this increase in prices on goods would immediately stop, which would save the American public a bunch of money. It would make for a heck of a lot better holiday season too, because the tariffs are primarily on things we import, like electronics and toys and clothing. And I don't know about you, but I would love to not pay the tariffs on my nephew's PS5. Okay, I would love to just get that for the regular retail price. I mean, the cost of spirits would go down because things like tequila were heavily taxed because you could really only make tequila in Mexico and there's a tax. I mean, the only person who I see really worried about the tariffs not continuing or having to pay back the tariffs is Donald Trump. Everybody else would benefit from it except for seemingly him. He seems very concerned that this $90 billion he collected wouldn't be there to pay back. Where is it? Where's the money?
He wants. This Supreme Court spent 4 years of the Biden administration saying, look, if the president wants to do something big and bold, he needs to have clear congressional authorization for it. That authorization does not exist here in this statute. And so at least those three justices, plus the three liberals, I mean, they were being consistent. They were saying, we just don't see in the law that you're showing us anything that looks like authorization for
this. But here's what I don't understand. This is the unprecedented precedent.
Sure.
And they have been absolutely A-OK with power grabs in all different places. How come not here?
Well, I think they hate taxes more than they love Trump. I also think that there's a lot of cross pressures here. The Chamber of Commerce sided against the tariffs, right? A lot of the business communities against it. I also think, the justices are pretty smart. Maybe not Brett Kavanaugh, but most of the justices are smart enough to know that tariffs are a tax on the American people, as Chief Justice Roberts said, right?
So the way most people understand it is that he spent the money, but on what though? He gave $30 billion to Argentina. Okay. Even then, if it's $3 trillion, you got plenty of money left. Where did the money go? Did he put it into more money for defense? Did he give more money to the military? Did he add money to infrastructure budget? Where did the money go, and did it go to good use? It doesn't seem to be allocated anywhere that anybody know at this point. Is it top secret? We don't know.
Donald Trump appears to be confessing that the revenue collected by tariffs has already been spent as he's trying to get ahead of the Supreme Court decision. Now, if you didn't know, right now the Supreme Court is deciding whether or not Trump had the legal authority to impose tariffs on U.S. businesses. If they rule against Donald Trump, the U.S. government is going to have to pay back all that tariff revenue, and Donald Trump is in a panic as he took to Truth Social to say this. The U.S. Supreme Court was given the wrong numbers. In the event of a negative decision, The amount to be returned is in excess of $3 trillion. It would not be possible to ever make up for that kind of drubbing. This would become a national security event. But just the day before, yesterday, Donald Trump said it was $2 trillion. He added $1 trillion today because he is panicked. He is trying to signal, in my opinion, to the Supreme Court, the money's not here anymore. Either that or he's trying to game them. Either way, I have an idea to refund the money. You could defund ICE, or maybe that ballroom, or both. Either way, Trump is in some trouble here.
So the court has yet to make a decision on this matter. It is now up for review. If it goes any way that the court has been ruling in Donald Trump's favor up until this point, they'll normally side with him. But for something like this, maybe they'll change their mind and actually have him pay it back. But I would not hold my breath on the thought that the Supreme Court would do anything other than rule in Donald Trump's favor.
Well, America, the idiot in charge has spent the tariff money. He has spent $3 trillion. Where was it supposed to be? It was supposed to be in the bank. It was supposed to pay off our debt or give us a check as a tax return. I don't know. But he admitted himself in writing that he has spent the money. If he's forced to pay this money back, it will plunge the United States into the greatest recession or depression we've ever seen. You voted for him. Most of you voted for him 3 times. He spent the tariff money. On what? God knows who. He spent the tariff money and now can't pay it back. I don't know. How could we have known that? 5 bankruptcies? 2 failed casinos? Who can fail at a casino?
Our laws were made to hold people accountable, especially when large sums of government funding is missing or misappropriated in some form or fashion. So we'll see how all this shakes out. Nevertheless, people are not happy about it. So you tell me what you think. Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Where is the Money? Talk to you soon.